loses $5.40 at $667 per ton. Speculation over possible tariffs continue to hover over the canola market. There are concerns in the trade that China may soon impose punitive measures on Canadian canola in the coming days. Also, the incoming Trump administration suggests tariffs could be placed on a wide variety of commodities in 2025. As losses in crude oil put pressure on the vegetable oils, declines in the Chicago soy complex and European rapeseed weigh on canola values. There is support for canola from another round of contract highs in Malaysian palm oil. The Canadian Grain Commission reports weekly canola exports are down by a third at about 204,000 tons. However, year-to-date exports of 3.1 million tons are handily above the 1.58 million tons a year ago. The Canadian dollar slips back Friday morning to 71.94 US cents compared to Thursday's close of 72.12. The United States Department of Agriculture announces a trio of private sales, including 107,000 tons of current crop soybeans to China and 132,000 tons to unknown destinations. Also, there's nearly 200,500 tons of current crop corn to unknown destinations. Ahead of the USDA supply and demand report, the average trade guess for 2024-25 domestic soybean production is 4.56 billion bushels. Corn is projected to be 15.19 billion bushels, and the market will be watching global wheat production estimates for Australia, Russia, and Ukraine. Rounding off prices at the Chicago Board of Trade, soybean futures are slightly lower on Friday morning. The January contract dips 2 cents at $10.24 per bushel. December soy meal gives up $2.10 at $296.40 per short ton. December soy oil eases back by more than 1/10 of a cent at 48.18 cents per pound. Also in Chicago, December corn gains 4 cents at $4.31 per bushel. December oats tumbled 22 cents at $3.61 cents. The U.S. wheat complex is higher as Chicago December adds 2.5 cents at $5.74. Kansas City December tacks on 3/4 cent at $5.69.5. And Minneapolis December bumps up 1.5 cents at $6.04. That's a look at the ICE futures and the Chicago markets for Friday morning, November 8th. For MarketsFarm.com in Winnipeg, I'm Glenn Halleck.
35 years ago, Butler Farm Equipment had a vision. That vision included making sure you can rely on us when you need us, to treat everyone as you want to be treated, to always be approachable and friendly, and of course, to get the job done right. That vision is one we still have today. Butler Farm Equipment, celebrating 35 years of delivering great service in the Peace region. To learn more, visit us online at butlerfarmequipment.ca.
The opinions expressed on this show do not represent those of the station. If you've missed any of the shows, you can follow the podcast at Energeticcity.ca. Welcome to This Week in the Peace, a show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace region. Here's your hosts, Dub Craig and Steve Berard.
Welcome to This Week in the Peace. Later in the show, I'll be chatting with Brenda Baumeister from the Fort St. John Cancer Support Circle Society to talk about what the society does and its fundraising efforts.
Absolutely. But first, as you well know, Remembrance Day is on Monday, with ceremonies happening in many places around the Peace, including right here in Fort St. John. So to talk a bit about that ceremony and the importance of marking this occasion every year, we're joined by the Sergeant at Arms and President of the Fort St. John Royal Canadian Legion Branch 102. That's Mike King and Shannon Smith. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Good morning, Warren.
All right. Well, why don't we start with this, if you don't mind, Mike? I think people have a general sense of what the Legion is about. You're a building kind of over in that part of downtown. You have karaoke and meat draws and that sort of thing. And you help veterans. It's a gathering place for veterans. But I wonder if you could talk a bit more about what that means exactly and what that place is really all about.
Well, the Fort St. John Legion Branch 102, which was initiated in 1929 by Corporal Ed Thomas, the early homesteader in Fort St. John. It was the first war veterans getting together and it kind of conjoined with the influx of people coming into Fort St. John to homestead and that in the late 20s and 30s, and a lot of them were First War veterans. They wanted to kind of continue that camaraderie that they had on the battlefield and the common experience, and also it was a place for them to go and I guess work off some of the things they carried with them from the trauma of the battlefield, and to talk it over with people that understood where they were coming from. And it's had a tradition from 1929 till the present day, and we're just working to try to keep it going.
Yeah. And I know somewhere along the line, I think fairly recently, it changed to kind of become a place where anyone can now become a member and pay the membership fee. I guess have some voting rights in what happens, and really support again the veterans of this community who still need help, who still need support and whatnot. So tell me a bit about that.
Well, a few years back, it's quite a few years back now, because I've been with the Legion for 30 years, and I've been in Fort St. John about 50 years. I think they decided we've got to broaden the base. And there was a lot of people. It was kind of a gathering place, but at first it went, you were some kind of auxiliary member, and then it changed to you. Well, if you had if you were descendant of a veteran, then it finally it just had what we call ordinary membership. You come to the Legion, you want to work and help out, and you want to promote the traditions and of the Royal Canadian Legion, and of course the Canada's military history. Then we'd open it up. I say we. That's the Dominion Command and the command for all of Canada. Open up and said, okay, we're going to have. And you come to the Legion. You help us out. You want to work to promote our values and our traditions, and it's open to everybody, and you have a vote and membership.
If you don't mind me asking, Mike, you're obviously a Legion member. You're the Sergeant at Arms now. Quickly, kind of what led you to becoming a member and kind of staying involved for this long and wanted to be a part of it?
Well, my family's had a military history in both the U.S. and Canada, and I was always interested in militaria, particularly particularly history. I was a history major at university, and I like to talk to all the old veterans. And so I found that it was a very personal interest for me. I was involved with the Cadet Corps with my good friend Dan Davies for probably 20 years or more. And then I was a member of the Canadian Rangers. And so that was my interest. And then helping out people like Shannon. Shannon bears the heavy load. Shannon and her entourage of auxiliaries and support staff that help her. And just give her a hand, because it's a big job. And of course, like any other position of authority and responsibility, you get unfairly criticized sometimes. So we try to work through all those things, and I guess that's why I'm involved with the Legion.
Same question to you, Shannon. My understanding is you're a little newer to kind of the Legion sort of situation. So tell me about your involvement. What kind of inspired you to, I assume, first become a member and then later become a volunteer and become president?
Well, I've been a member of the Legions back east for years, and I'm here in this one here for 20. And the position.
Okay, so not as short of a time as I thought. My mistake.
No,
sorry, Shannon.
That's okay. The position come up for president. I do a lot of volunteer work. I did before I even started on the executive, and I was on the executive for a few years. And the president role come up, and I ran for it, and I really enjoy doing it. It's something that my family, we were all in cadets as kids and stuff like that. So, I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I loved helping out people. We do, especially with the funds and stuff like that, because we help out so many veteran families and veterans themselves. Like this year, we just disposed of $51,120 to programs and stuff around Fort St. John. That's where the money goes, and just to be able to help people out.
Can you talk a bit about those programs for a moment? Because I know I think that's a big part of what the Legion does, is sort of advocacy for veterans who need help later in life, because not to just bash the government here, but they don't help out enough. So the Legion sort of tries to fill in the gap when it can, in sort of doing your part, but also inspiring the community to help out as well, right?
Yeah, we always look for volunteers. Like we just did, like we sent money to the Peace Villa to give them a hand, and like there's different corporations that come to our general meetings. Our general meetings are every fourth Tuesday of the month, and if people are needing help and looking for help, we advise them to come to the meeting and give what they're looking for, and we do everything we can to help.
Because they're also helping veterans, right?
Yes.
There may be veterans, I assume, who live in Peace Villa or,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'd like to interject here too, just to supplement what Shannon's saying. One of the good programs that the Legion does is bursaries for people going on to apprenticeships or college or university that are, and first priority is descendants of veterans, and well, I guess first priority would be descendants of veterans from Fort St. John, and then descendant of veterans. So the Legion helps out lots of kids going on to apprenticeships or university.
I see. Okay. Well, why don't we move on then to kind of I assume is kind of the biggest day in the Legion's calendar, the Remembrance Day ceremony. Again, thank you for making some time for us this week, Shannon. I know you've been very busy. Both of you have been very busy. The ceremony, let's kind of quickly go through kind of what happens in it for somebody who's maybe never been to a Remembrance Day ceremony. And either you can answer this question. That there's parts, it's kind of got a fairly strict, regimented sort of look to it. I assume the ceremony has not changed a lot in your time in the Legion, Mike? It goes a certain way every time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's changed in one way. We used to do lots of 20 and 30 belows with the wind blowing.
Fair point.
That's one thing that's really changed in the last few years.
It's warmer than it used to be.
We used to have to march to the city hall. That's where the cenotaph was. We relocated the cenotaph, but we had some cold ones in the late 80s and 90s, really cold.
Yeah. But the ceremony itself, it has all these parts that kind of have to be a part of it. Talk a bit about that and sort of the adherence to, making it happen the way it does year in, year out.
There is a lot of volunteers that get involved in this.
Yeah.
Time is a strict thing. They start with the parade first thing in the morning. They start at the School District 60 and they march up to City Hall and come back down towards the Legion, and then we have our ceremony at the cenotaph outside, fueling of the wreaths, and then we also have inside, we do a ceremony with laying of the wreaths, and we have our guest speakers that come in. We have our master of ceremonies also that does it, and then we have, after the ceremony, we have free chili and a bun. And then it's throughout the day, there's things going on all inside the Legion. Then we have a turkey dinner in the evening that people can come by and buy a ticket for. It's a really busy day, and I would like to personally thank all the volunteers that help us get this going and have it going, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do it. It's a lot of work. A lot of work.
To supplement what Shannon just said, the program is the parade will kick off at 10:20.
Yeah.
It'll leave and it'll go down 102nd, then it'll go east out around up past the government building, around the city hall, and back to the Legion. And there'll be cadets on the honor guard at the cenotaph, and then there'll be O Canada, the last post, and at exactly, because remember it's 11:11:11.
Yeah.
So at 11 o'clock there'll be 2 minutes of silence, and then we'll go inside. There'll be some wreath laying on the outside, like with the Bob Zimmer and probably the newly elected MLA Jordan Keeley, and maybe one or two others, and then we'll go inside for some other wreath laying. There's some Fort St. John supporters, like the Teachers Association, the Métis Association, numerous others that lay wreaths every year in commemorates and remembrance.
I guess my next question is, and this is it seems like a silly question, but given that, we when we think of the Legion, as you say, started World War I, obviously there were many veterans after World War II. There's a part of this that seems like there's waning participation in this, in sort of the ceremonies, whether you're watching them or you're actually going to them and whatnot. Why is it still so important that we remember the veterans of those two world wars, but also the veterans who we're doing things before that, in between, after, in sort of the wars and the conflicts that Canada has been in since then, even in peacekeeping time, in remembering that there's so many people who have gone and fought for our country and fought for goodness and freedom and all that kind of good stuff. Why is it still so important to at least take today, or a Monday, I should say, Remembrance Day, to remember them for you?
Well, it actually just you forgot. I think there was one veteran on the original charge that was a Boer War veteran, even.
There you go.
So then you had the First War, and a lot of those First War people they were prominent people in Fort St. John, like Dr. Kearney, Captain Dr. Kearney,
there you go.
Phil Tompkins. The Tompkins had a huge business here. Elwyn Holland. There's just some names that you'll recognize.
Absolutely.
Duncan Cran.
Yep.
We have a Duncan Cran room in the Legion there, and so and then there was the the Second War, and then Korea, and then we had various peacekeeping duties, and then Afghanistan. So it sort of waned sometime in the 80s, the participation on Remembrance Day, and that sort of waned, but it really came back with Afghanistan.
Yeah.
When the Canadian forces were committed to Afghanistan, it really came back and made a huge comeback. In fact, we had to find Shannon and her people had to find a place that they had to spread it out. We don't have enough room in the main auditorium, and there's just it's tradition, huh?
Yeah.
We can't forget our history. Those that forget history are doomed to repeat it. Huh? So it's remembering our history and our traditions.
Yeah. I suppose same sort of question to you, Shannon. I mean, this is an important day. Why is it important to you and should be important to everyone?
Pretty much the same. I can go with Mike here on this one. We don't ever want to forget. You don't ever want to forget what people did for us and what they are still doing for us at this day and age. And hopefully it continues to go on so the younger ones will understand.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of, actually, our vets are gone around today to the schools to talk to the kids, to let them know what went on and what happened, and just to keep it.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to forget what people did. And it's close. It's close to home.
Yeah.
You just want to remember.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you said the parade starts about 10:40.
10:20. I think 20 is
pardon
the step off from, like Shannon said, from the school backside of the school district, down little short run down 102nd, then east, and then around up past the government building, around the city hall, and back to the Legion, back to the cenotaph where the Leith Lane, and then the 11 o'clock, 2 minutes of silence, and then we'll go inside for some more Leith Rain. And also a message by from the Anglican preacher, Chris, and he'll give a short message inside. And then Dan Davies will be the MC on the inside. We all know who Dan Davies is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, as you said, chili and a bun for lunch afterwards.
Yes.
More activities kind of throughout the day. That you can
there's some more
participate in,
that maybe Shannon could elaborate on what goes on the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a turkey dinner and some other things.
And there's games that we have in the auditorium also throughout the day. And
and family friendly.
yes, it is. All ages are welcome.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. And I'm sure if you need more information or want more, the Fort St. John Legion Facebook page has been very active in sharing info, the city as well. So, I appreciate, again, you guys making some time for us today. I know all the preparations for the ceremony have kept you very busy, so thank you for taking a few minutes to talk to us. I really appreciate both of you being here.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah. You're very welcome. So again, that's Mike King and Shannon Smith with the Fort St. John Royal Canadian Legion Branch 102. We'll be right back with Steve's chat with Brenda Baumeister of the Fort St. John Cancer Support Circles Society on This Week in the Piece.
Swing by Just Jack's Restaurant and treat yourself to our Irish Delights lunch buffet every Friday. All the flavors you love and all you can eat for just $16. Think of it as fast food, but jazzed up with a delicious Irish twist that's far from the usual. Come on over and dig in.
Is your vehicle the grimiest, muddiest, or just plain dirtiest in town? We want to see it. Enter our Rudy's Dirtiest Vehicle contest for a chance to win big. It's simple. Visit our website, fill out the contest form, and that's it. You could win $100 every month from Rudy's Truck and Car Wash. Don't miss your chance to turn that dirt into dollars and let Rudy's make your vehicle shine like new again. Visit moosefm.ca/dirtiest vehicle to enter or for more details.
With Amika, all hair is welcome. Hi, Amber here from the Hair Bin, where we now carry an amazing new hair care line, Amika, perfect for all hair types. Plus, we can help you get ready for Christmas with gift cards and holiday packs arriving daily. Get them while they last. Bring your VIP retail cards to enter our draw for $250 cash and $250 gift card. The Hair Bin, your People's Choice Award winner since 2011. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at hairbin.com.
Bring the pit stop to you. Lucas's Pit Stop offers catering and mobile food services, which means homemade meals and baked goods for your next event are just a call away.
Visit Lucas's Pit Stop today inside Double R Mini Storage on 100th Ave.
Moose Country weather.
Today you're going to see a high of 10 degrees, mix of sun and clouds, but some chance of showers. Later tonight, it's going to dip down to -4. Wind chill, -9 overnight. Tomorrow, sun's going to come out with a high of 3 degrees, and tomorrow night, -4. Sunday, cloudy skies and 0 degrees. And on Remembrance Day, -1 with some snow.
You can watch this show live on Facebook. Catch the replays at Energeticcity.ca or be part of the show by texting your thoughts to the Fort City Chrysler line at 250-787-2222.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Steve Berard. November is an important month where a lot of the men in and around Fort St. John and across Canada will start growing out their beards to raise awareness for issues like prostate and testicular cancer. Here in Fort St. John, people whose lives have been impacted by cancer can turn to the Fort St. John Cancer Support Circle Society. I'm here today with one of its co-founders, Brenda Baumeister. Brenda, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Steve. Thank you very much.
Of course, always happy to have you. So, Brenda, for people who maybe aren't familiar with the society, haven't heard of it, can you tell me a little bit about its history and some of the services you guys offer?
Awesome. Well, so we started back in 2018. We started out with the Carnival of Hope. At that time, the Canadian Cancer Society closed their main office here. And we decided, a friend and I decided that we needed some kind of support here. Mm-hmm. And so we decided to start up our little group. But it kind of started, again, with the Carnival of Hope for a couple years. And then we thought, you know what, we need some gatherings now. So the second Wednesday of every month, we do gather. We do lots of activities. We just let people talk. We visit, that kind of thing. It's quite a great feeling to have. It's at the college, which is a nice little area for that. The bottom line really is that we also have the WIG program. Mm-hmm. And we really do a lot of mental, physical, emotional support with that, assist in navigating, asking questions with their healthcare system or care team, direct them to information that they seek. That's a big thing, right? People who are diagnosed with cancer, a lot of times they get a big book of information, and it's overwhelming. And, you know, they can have lots of support from family and friends, but having a stranger who's kind, like Lisa and I, it's a better sort of system at times for people. Yeah. Help to find information on financial support. That's another issue. A lot of people, you know, sometimes going for treatments or any issues, it's hard on the finances, and we can at least direct them to where, you know, they need to be, where we can get some support from that direction. We do a little bit of that kind of support, you know, gift cards and that kind of thing. Also to the WIGs, again, partial or full, adults and children. And yes, we have a men's line. So it does really help that kind of thing. And we've opened the WIG room to anyone with hair loss as well. It's not just for cancer patients, because there's a lot of diseases that cause hair loss. Yeah. But I mean, our main goal is to help our cancer patients, of course. So that's a big, huge piece that we really offer.
Yeah, for sure. I want to touch on those monthly gatherings you talked about a little bit. You said that's the second Wednesday of every month.
That's correct.
Who all can go to those? Is that strictly for people who are currently going through chemotherapy, or who is that open to?
So that is open to anyone that cancer's touched. Friends, family, whether or not you're going through your cancer right now or did 5 or 10 or 20 years ago, or, you just don't know what to do kind of thing. And sometimes caregivers need that support too.
Yeah.
And sometimes the caregivers come and their loved ones at home. It just depends, right? But we do have it open to everyone, and it's to children as well. We would love to connect with parents. That is a big thing, because here at our cancer clinic in town, it's adults that they do their treatments with,
right,
whereas the children are always either down south, Vancouver, or in Edmonton. And I would love to have more parents to show that we're here for them too.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Talking a bit again about that wig room program that you guys have, that's in partnership with the hospital here in town?
It is not. So Northern Health and our Fort St. John Hospital support us,
okay,
in the sense that they've allowed us to have a room. They have my computer there. Sorry. They have all that is there. So, and we're right beside the cancer clinic. So yes, in that way, they've sponsored us in that. They've allowed us to have the room. That's huge. That is huge, sure, right? So we have our room there with all the wigs, and we bring the person in, and we make it as special as we can. So we fit the wig, and we try and also support them in the sense of whatever it is they need, right? So we give out baskets. Someone maybe comes to us and they need something. We're here too for that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Now, obviously, a nice high quality wig like that, the gift cards that you talked about, financial support, none of that can come cheap. You guys do fundraising events. I've seen you raising money throughout the community. Do you guys have anything coming up soon? How can people get in touch about donating?
So they can get in touch with us. Our email is fsjcsc@gmail.com. Myself, Brenda, 250-263-7824. Lisa Barons as well, 261-6272. And we have definitely been raising money. We've got some grants that we try and get out. Some of our oil company has come forward wonderfully. Shell Canada, it was amazing. And coming up soon in a couple weeks, Co-op has so graciously we're on board with them, and I'm so excited. That is something that's just so amazing, and thank you to the Co-op for that, and Moose FM as well. We've done, little bits and pieces. We're getting out into our community. We do, we're presenting to the city next week. We've done the Rotary clubs. Now it's just a matter of, going to all the medical clinics and just really getting the word out there that we are here for you and for everyone.
Sure. Absolutely. When you see people come to those monthly gatherings for the first time, tell me a little bit about sort of what it means to you to see these people get that support at these meetings.
Actually, it's quite heartwarming. I know that, when we are in the actual meeting itself, we can sit very quietly as well, and the room's very quiet, but you still get that feeling that that you're supporting, and we're supporting each other. I mean, I've got a cancer background, not myself, my family. Mm-hmm. Lisa does too. And I think it just makes us feel warm to know that we know we're helping, because we've been told that. We're told that. And so every time we finish the meetings, we always ask everyone around the table to tell us what was the positive thing for today. And a lot of times they always say it's the gathering. And like I said, we do lots of different types of stuff in the particular gathering. We have activities. We do, therapeutic medicines.
Right.
It's just kind of a combination of everything, right? And it just feels really good. Like if we know that we're helping one person, that makes it way worth what we do. It really does.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to have some people who listen to this who are interested in contributing to the society. Maybe they can't afford a financial donation, but they've got time. How can people get in touch? Do you guys recruit volunteers? How can people get in touch with you to help out in other ways?
So that's a great question, because actually, Steve, we do need volunteers. I mean, I have simple stuff like folding brochures. We have stuff, go door to door, help us take our information out there. We also do one-on-one visits. So some people don't feel comfortable in coming to a gathering, a group of people, right? So if you're not, we're here as an individuals as well. And, if we can find people that can do that with us, that's also a step that we can do. So yes, volunteers, just give us an email, phone us. We're definitely welcome to as much help as we can.
For sure. Now, second Wednesday of every month. That
Yes.
means that the next gathering is on the 13th?
Next Wednesday, yes. You
Awesome.
bet.
Any other events coming up? Any other stuff you want to share?
Well, basically the co-op thing, I think that's pretty cool. So, get your tickets. It's an amazing event.
Yeah, for sure.
Love
All the
music,
details
all
on
that
that,
kind
yeah.
of stuff, right? We're working on in February. We're going to do a bingo cards.
Okay.
I guess they're called. We're going to start selling those in January, so into the new year. And up until then, if anybody, like I said, wants to give a donation to us towards anything, we're more than happy to do that. Because again, we buy wigs. They cost anything from, a couple $100 to
For sure.
say $500. Because you want fairly good wigs to last, because it's a lending system. No one
Right.
has to pay for the wigs. It's a lending system. So, they get the stuff to care for the wigs. We make sure that they all get a little gift with their wigs as well. I mean, because that's important. You feel comfortable, right? And then, of course, all the other stuff that comes along with that. And if we want to help support any individuals, we know that we can do that if we get the donations and the sponsorships.
Yeah, for sure. If people maybe are interested in learning more, maybe coming to one of these gatherings, but they can't attend the one this month, where can they go to learn more? Do you guys have a website? I know you have a Facebook page.
We have a Facebook page for sure. They can definitely contact us again on our email. And we have a website coming. We're in the works.
Yeah, for sure.
Works, right? As we all say that. But yeah, so we will be doing that as well. But by all means, and anytime they come to the meetings, they're, like I said, at the college. We have a sign up. It's at 6:30. So the second Wednesday of every month, it's at 6:30. We usually go for an hour, but we try and finish by 8 for sure. But, sometimes it does go a little bit over. But
100%.
But that would be wonderful. Anyone's welcome. Like I said, it's very important. And, sometimes, again, people want to support, like, they'll say, yeah, my aunt or my cousin, had cancer or in cancer or whatever, but they just want to join us as well. They're more than welcome. I mean, especially if people are out of town, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we're just about wrapping up here. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to share while you're still here?
I just want to say thank you again to Moose FM, allowing us to speak on air.
Of course.
And to our community. And, it's a big, huge thing, right? Like, we've got so many things to support. I know that. But this is one that can pretty much hit everyone's heart, I think, in their community. And we also cover the Northeast. So we cover Dawson Creek, Fort Nelson, Chetwynd, Tumbler Ridge, Hudson's Hope. So it is very broad what we do. And we just want to make sure that everyone out there knows that we are here for you. And just use us. Please contact us. I think it's a great thing for us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today, Brenda. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you very much.
No worries. That was Brenda Baumeister of the Fort St. John Cancer Support Circle Society. Thanks again to Shannon Smith and Mike King for joining us earlier today on This Week in the Piece. And thank you for tuning in.
You can listen to the show again by checking out the podcast at Energeticcity.ca/podcast. We'll store this in future episodes there as we make them. Also, while there, make sure you check out our other locally produced podcasts, Before the Peace and Secrets of the North as well. Well, that's our show. I'm Dub Craig.
And I'm Steve Berard. Be well.
Join us again next Friday morning at 10 for another edition of This Week in the Peace, your weekly talk show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace region. Or you can listen to this podcast again at Energeticcity.ca.